It's all over in Port Elizabeth between South Africa and Italy. My thoughts immediately following the final whistle. Sorry, did I say Port Elizabeth? Geberha. Is that right? Am I all right with that? Anyway, the game's finished. That's the main thing. And these are my thoughts immediately following the final whistle. Thank you very much for yours in the comments down below. Do get stuck in there. And final result 45-0 to the Boks. That result is not surprising. I predicted South Africa by 50. The fact that that scoreline is what we saw at the end of the game, given that what happened within the 80 minutes, it is a slight surprise, and it just underlines the absolute dominance of South Africa, who, in strange circumstances, put in a proper performance. And there was a reaction there. There would have been frustration at the second half last week. There was changes rung, 11 new faces in the starting 15. My goodness me, they made a statement. 45-0. They have nilled Italy when they played the majority of the game, about an hour, with one man down, and at times with two men down. Quite something. And I would sort of look back on the game and just think the Boks looked like frenzied. They looked desperate in a really good way. And like I say, I think part of that was a reaction from last week. I think part of it might have just been the infectious nature of that crowd. That it was wild. Now, I need to add, go into that stadium to my list, because I've watched an international game in Kings Park in Durban, Loftus Versfeld in Pretoria, at Ellis Park, Johannesburg, and in the Cape Town Stadium as well. But that atmosphere was wild. And can I just say as well, anthems were awesome. I was talking earlier about the strange musical backing that there was in Wellington for the France and New Zealand anthems. The singers in this one, I know it's a silly thing to talk about. I'm here to talk about the rugby, but I appreciate all the pageantry and everything that goes around rugby. And was that a South African fella that was singing the Italian anthem? Because he nailed it. And the tears on Niccolo Cannoni's face were genuinely really moving. The Italian anthem's amazing, and the South African anthem was awesome as well. It seemed like it was wild, that atmosphere. So I can understand if that transferred onto the pitch and the players just managed to draw an extra couple of percent out of themselves. Discipline is going to be one of the things that is talked about following this game. Jasper Wiese may count the costs of a mad moment, which I'll definitely get into in a minute. A full red card was given by a referee. No bunker, no TMO involved. Didn't think that happened anymore. And even with that, Italy still got absolutely monstered. So here's a question for you to kick off. How many players would South Africa have had to have played without in order for Italy to win that match? Because as I say, at times, South Africa were down to 13. And what was incredible is you didn't really notice when South Africa were down to 13. So I would say today, with the mood that the Boks were in, they run out on the pitch and play 80 minutes with 13 against that Italian team, they win. Probably win, I won't say comfortably, but they win. Yeah, they win with a bit of breathing room. I think it might need to be 12 players before Italy even have a chance. And even then, I might take the Boks to win with 12. So I'm going to say 11 players, and then I'd be confident Italy might get a win. Remarkable. And just to flip the focus onto Italy for a second, it is important to remember they've got like 8, 9, maybe as many as 10 frontline potential first choice players rested. The likes of Juan Ignacio Brex and Paolo Garbisi and Martin Pajarello, Ange Capowazzo, and there are others. This exposed the fact they do not have the depth, and especially trying to go back to back, week on week. The performance that they managed to pull out, the heart that they showed in defence last week, and part of it was, yes, South African errors, but part of it was just an incredible effort last week to go back to back and go back to the well and try and get more. It's not going to happen. And Italy just do not have the depth. And the depth and quality of the Springbok squad is insane. It's insane. 11 changes to the starting 15, 3 debutants off the bench, massive impacts made. And big picture thoughts. Firstly, one of the big talking points to come out of this is innovation. Can we... I love this. It's like there's a constant battle between Rassie Erasmus and World Rugby, and now Rassie's gone, World Rugby, your move, because from the kickoff, South Africa deliberately kicked the ball short, knowing that they were going to catch the ball, so they could set up a scrum. No intention of competing, no intention of chasing, pure intention. Let's have a scrum. It was up there with, and I'm here for it. So yeah, your move, World Rugby. What are you going to do? Ban kickoffs? Um, it's quite funny. And even I was watching it, and Villy Leroux on his, I can't believe I haven't even mentioned Villy Leroux, 100th appearance, the 8th South African to get to a century of caps. Incredible achievement, amazing day for him. But early in the game, he had a little jinky run, and he got stripped of the ball. It went forward, and there was even a thought that crossed my mind, like, did he let that happen so they could have a scrum? He didn't. But the fact that I even thought it, or thought at least, oh, well, that's probably good news for them because they've got a scrum. Another bit of innovation. We've seen it before, but we saw it again, and it led to a Malcolm Marks try. The open field lift, like a line out in the middle of the park to set up a maul. And it is genius when you think about it, because the maul is such a devastating weapon. But at a line out, you've got up to 7 of the opponents stood there waiting for it, ready, and they train all the time from line out setup to hit the maul. But when you're doing it in open field, you can't plan or prepare for that. So South Africa all knew what was going on. Italy didn't. Ruben Nokia goes up from a little pass from the base of a ruck. Up the pass goes, catches it, brings it down, maul set, try time, Malcolm Marks. Absolutely love it. The innovation continues. And there were some really lovely tries as well. Let me go through the tries. Grant Williams, that was just like, there was a few first phase tries that were just beautifully executed. And Italy will be looking at that and going, you can't let first phase tries go. And the defence maybe was left wanting, but lovely hands. And Marnie Libok, I mean, he nailed his touch line conversion at the end to make it 45. He missed a couple of kicks, but I'll tell you what, kicking aside, his passing is absolutely sublime. He had lovely hands to get the ball away. Edwill van der Merwe, that man there, off his wing to create the extra man. Ball goes to Makazole Mapimpi, flying down the left. Grant Williams with a classic scrum half support line. Boom, try. And then Edwill van der Merwe gets a brace of tries. Beautiful pass again from Marnie Libok, wasn't it? Off his left hand, floated over to the right hand touchline. Van der Merwe is in. And then it was Villy Leroux with a little nudge over the defence, spotting the defence with flying up, little nudge over the top. Van der Merwe, wheels, try. Simple and brilliant. The one I think I enjoyed the most was the Kane and Moody try, because it was just pure power. You had a line out, Esterhazen with just a hard, heavy carry. Grant Williams sniping. All the backs were lined up, doing a similar shape to the one that led to the first try from Grant Williams. This time, he doesn't give the ball. He takes the gap, gets his hands past the defence, flat pass, Kane and Moody, who just monsters his way to the line. Loved it. Then the manufactured lift and maul in the second half for Malcolm Marks. Makazole Mapimpi, again, lovely hands, beautiful shape. Marnie Libok with the hands, and then Jan Hendrik Wessels at the death. Just on that Jan Hendrik Wessels try, the 7th try was that? Imagine if that was the try and there was a game on the line. That would have been, I mean, it didn't really matter which way the TMO, but I wonder what would have happened if that was like game decider against New Zealand on September the 6th in Eden Park. Anyway, the try got given. That's such a 50-50 one. It's really hard. So I don't begrudge the referee and team for that one. So on to other story. But yeah, let me focus on Italy just for a second. Please do let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And please, if you haven't already, give the video a thumbs up, hit subscribe. I will be coming to South Africa immediately following the 3rd Lions test. I'll be traveling from Sydney to Johannesburg. I'm going to take in a bit of KZN with my family who will be joining me there. Then I'll get down to the Cape, and I will be watching both tests in Johannesburg and Cape Town. Just a quick update as well, very briefly. I'll get back to the rugby. But I had a lot of people when I talked about, I've got a couple of days on my own and I want to see a bit more of South Africa that I haven't seen, and I suggested driving from Johannesburg to Cape Town. Thank you for all the comments and suggestions and emails as well, with people getting in touch, giving me advice. And based on that advice, and funnily enough, because the game is in PE that we've just watched, I am going to get from Johannesburg to PE and then drive down that bit of coast south and west from there. Bit of that garden route. So I've not seen it. I haven't been that far, and by all accounts, it's stunning. So I'll see the rest of it in time. But thank you very much for all the suggestions. I appreciate it. Italy. What can you say about them? Well, they kept going, and they're a really young team, and that is a context. And Zuliani, Menoncello, Ross Vincent, they have got a really good crop of youngsters coming through. Zuliani in particular. We know about Menoncello now. He's been around for a bit, but Zuliani's really blossoming into a good international player. The line-out was absolutely dreadful. The penalty count was worse. It was horrendous. And the new players, I guess they know where the level is now. But yeah, that's a tough one for Gonzalo Quesada because their squad is not good enough, and they now know where they need to get to. In terms of South Africa, discipline is going to be one that's talked about. Let's go there then. Let's talk about Jasper Wiese's moment of madness. At times, just in general, the game was a bit of a penalty fest, wasn't it? Made it quite stop-start at times. I've got such mixed feelings about Jasper Wiese. Let's have a look at... There's the face Rassie Erasmus pulled. What's even more interesting is look at in the background, Jaco Paper's face. Even a former international referee was going... Which means there will be... I have mixed feelings on it, okay? So, number one. First and foremost, as I've already mentioned, Andrew Brace, well done. Finally, a referee making a decision, not going to the bunker, not going to the TMO, and just making a call. And he made a call for a straight red card. I cannot remember the last straight red card, straight from a referee, that I've seen. So I appreciated that, I will say. That's number one. Number two, is it a red card? Well, it was, so referee's always right. We'll wait and see. There's no way the citing panel are going to overturn that one. I expect that to be given a red card, yes. Is it a red card? Yes. And fundamentally, it was so stupid. Jasper Wiese has only got himself to blame, and he robbed himself of a chance to be there on the field when his brother made his debut. So he'll be gutted about that, but he'll be even more gutted about the fact that he may well miss a couple of key games, including Rugby Championship, when, who knows, Cameron Hanekom, Evan Ruiz, Vincent Tachuka could nick his spot on a more longer term level. We'll wait and see. So is it a red? Yes. I expect that to be given a red. Do I like that is a red card? No. So don't misunderstand me. Well done, Andrew Brace. Did I expect that to be given a red card? And is it a red card in the way that it's officiated now? Yes. Do I like that it's a red card? No. It just feels a bit soft. Because if Jasper Wiese headbutted you, I think you'd know about it. And Danilo Fischetti would be on the floor, not going, oh, ref. And he didn't even go for an HIA. So, look, it was stupid from Jasper Wiese, and he got a red card for being stupid as much as anything else. But the whole job of a rugby player is to go out there and smash each other within the laws. And I always find it amazing that there aren't more scraps off the ball, because they're like, these are revved up. You have to be in a certain headspace to play international rugby from a physical point of view. And that spilled over, and it was stupid, and he got a red card. But one thing, I would have liked Andrew Brace to have looked at it in full speed again before he made his call. But I understand why it was given a red card. Does that make sense? Because I can imagine some people will be going, oh, you're condoning violence. No, I'm not. I love the violence of rugby. Out there putting legal shots in, and there was some massive shots going in. I get it was a red card. I agree with the red card. Still felt soft. Anyway, there's been some great faces that have been pulled, by the way, by coaches. That's one from Rassie Erasmus. Matt Sherratt, the Wales coach, the relief of a Welsh win earlier today. But back to the game, and what else should we say? Defence. The Boks were absolutely brutal. Kane and Moody putting shots on early doors. Ethan Hooker, when he came on, just put some massive hits in. Talking about legal violence. Malcolm Marks, Marco van Staden, I thought was ace. Andre Esterhazen, Mapimpi, Peter Steph Toy. he was tackling you even when you didn't have the ball. Like he just hits anything that's moving near him, raining shots. And I thought the Boks were ruthless. And probably on a defensive side of things, the thing that will please Rassie Erasmus the most, a big fat 0, especially when they were men down. Scrum was good. Oxenche coming on after 30 minutes and just marmalising Italy. The line out. It was good for South Africa for the most part. It sort of wobbled a little bit when Salman Murat went off, actually, interestingly enough. So a few questions to finish with. Whose stocks are up or down off the back of that? Is Grant Williams the Bok 9 now? I've been asking this question a lot recently. Like, who is the main man? Faf de Klerk. Morne van den Berg's had a couple of starts. Cobus Reinach, he's getting older, but he's still class. And Grant Williams, that was a performance of a guy that was sort of going, I'm the guy. It's me. I thought he was brilliant. I thought Marnie Libok's distribution was incredible. I thought the centres, the starters, Moody and Esterhazen, and also Ethan Hooker when he came on, were great. I thought Edwill van der Merwe, cannot believe that was only his second start. Played against Wales and that was it. I just assumed he'd had more than that. And I have to say, Marco van Staden completely justified his second start in a row, and he really put it about. So, a couple of questions. Bok 9 moving forward. Is Grant Williams the number 1? And who's going to play number 8 if Jasper Wiese is out suspended? When is Cameron Hanacon back? That might be the same question. The answer to the question. We'll see. Anyway, really enjoyed the game. Italy, I'd like to say they'll learn from that. I hope some of their youngsters aren't scarred. There was one moment, Belloni on his debut made a brilliant break and then just threw the ball into touch. And the commentator accidentally said, that's baloney. I mean, Belloni, but his pass was baloney. Right, there we go. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Roll on the next game. It'll be England-Argentina I'll be watching next, and I'll catch up with Scotland-Fiji. And also, Cheetahs went and beat Georgia. We'll have to try and catch the highlights of that one. And then there's under-20s going on. It's all happening, and I'll cover as much of it as I can here on the channel. If you appreciate that, hit subscribe. See you on the next one.